Breaking news today. Non-alignment, Ukraine, and Ireland. Sir, again, I'm writing to you from Lviv, in western Ukraine, where innocent people have been attacked. Near where I'm staying, a Russian Kalibr missile destroyed an apartment building. The death toll stands at 4, with 32 others injured. My grandfather, the rector of the Lviv Economics University, and 25 other professors were executed by German invading forces on July 4, 1941, and I was invited to attend a ceremony in their honor on Tuesday. Wreaths were laid at the site of their murder and speeches were given by representatives of the Ukrainian and Polish governments, academics, and members of civil society. The similarities to the present day were too striking to ignore. Putin's tactics are sadly reminiscent of those used by Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. Whatever the outcome of the current debate in Ireland about security and what constitutes neutrality, I would like to add one thing to the conversation. These crimes that take place in faraway places have a direct impact on Ireland. My mother, a native of Wexford, is Irish, and I wouldn't be here if my father hadn't come to Ireland after escaping Soviet persecution and joining the Polish Underground Army to free Lviv. In today's increasingly interconnected and digital world, Ireland will always feel the effects of tragedies like these. Obtaining Irish citizenship isn't enough for me. To me, being a good Irish citizen means being a caring human being. And a wise one who anticipates the presence of evil, which seeks to divide us and stifle our spirit. In this case, I support openness, tolerance, compassion, and bravery. These are characteristics that I find to be prevalent in Ukraine right now. Personal, etc. Jonathan Korowicz. Donna Bate. City of Dublin County. Sir, in typical, Irish solution to an Irish problem, fashion, the concept of Irish neutrality is a massive act of self-deception. To be neutral is not who we are, and is not what we should be. The best of both worlds cannot be achieved by placing our security in the hands of our neighbors. In 1945, Taoiseach and Minister for External Affairs Eamon de Valera made a dark and shameful act in our history when he called on the German Minister for External Affairs, Eduard Hempel, to express his condolences on the death of Adolf Hitler. In a similar situation, would our neutrality require us to suggest calling the Russian embassy instead? No, I really do not think so. One's own, etc. On Friday, a federal judge nominated by former President Donald Trump granted a break to a man who used bear spray during the attack on the Capitol on January 6, saying that he did not warrant the prison sentence sought by prosecutors. Tyler Bench was sentenced to 2 years of probation and 60 days of home incarceration by U.S. District Judge Trevor McFadden after he pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts related to the riot. The government had asked for a federal prison sentence of 9 months. McFadden remarked, "You participated in a national embarrassment," before handing down the punishment, indicating that, "You came ready for trouble." However, he noted that Bench's age was a mitigating factor and that his involvement was pretty minor, in comparison to that of others. On January 6, 2021, Bench was 19 years old. McFadden stated, "I am giving you this break because of your age, and because they did not have a criminal record. You shouldn't let this be the defining moment of your life." Members of the far-right 3% movement and Guardians of Freedom, including failed 2018 congressional candidate and B-Squad member Jeremy Liggett, were arrested in August alongside Bench. Bench pleaded guilty to theft of government property and disorderly and disruptive conduct on restricted grounds for his role in removing a stolen police shield from the Capitol grounds. Bench told the FBI that the B-Squad had trained with firearms and had practiced hand-to-hand combat before the attack in an interview following his arrest. It was claimed in court that Bench was carrying bear spray and that he helped push others towards the violence, in a sentencing memo filed by federal prosecutors. Against another rioter that day, Bench used the spray. The court-appointed attorney Peter Cooper testified that Bench, who did not speak during the sentencing hearing on Friday due to his emotional state, deeply regrets his actions. According to Cooper, Bench didn't have the maturity to understand what he was getting into, and carries great remorse for what he did that day. Cooper continued by saying that despite Bench's misdemeanors, he is not beyond the realm of possibility of beginning a career in law enforcement. Bench's 60 days of home detention do not prevent him from leaving the house for work. He is employed by a pool cleaning company. A self-proclaimed FBI whistleblower left the agency in response to Bench's case and went to Republican members of Congress with his grievances. Bench was supposed to be transported by Steve Friend, a former FBI special agent based in Florida at the time of his arrest, but Friend declined. According to a book Friend wrote, he expressed his opinion to other FBI employees that the rioters who attacked police on January 6 should not be prosecuted. Later, he testified before a new GOP-led House panel investigating allegations of discrimination against conservatives called the House Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. According to Friend, the defendants in the January 6 cases are being brought to the gallows by federal authorities in Washington, D.C. If they go to court, they don't stand a chance, Friend said. Many of the rioters have been found not guilty by judges and juries. For example, on January 6, the defendant Matthew Martin was found not guilty by McFadden, a few months before Friend was scheduled to transport Bench. On Friday, Jonathan Rockholt, who was charged alongside Bench, was given a 5-month federal prison sentence by Judge McFadden. The state requested a sentence of 13 months in prison. In 2017, McFadden was confirmed by the Senate with an 84-10 vote. All 10 no votes came from Democrats. On Friday, January 6, Barry Ramey was given a 5-year federal prison sentence in a separate case. U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich said the 9 years in prison that prosecutors had requested for the Proud Boy member who had struck 2 officers with pepper spray would create an unwarranted sentencing disparity. More than 1,000 people have been charged in relation to the attack on January 6, and more than 300 have been given prison terms. Stuart Rhodes, founder of Oath Keepers, received the longest sentence of 18 years after being found guilty of seditious conspiracy.